Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the most amazing theater students in all of Southwest ISD, McNair Theater. Hi, everyone. I am here today to walk you through your stage directions lesson on Google Classroom. I am going to be giving you some information first, then I'm going to walk you through that lesson and make sure you know how to complete all the parts of your assignment as well as submit it on Google Classroom. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So you're going to begin first on your theater Google Classroom. We are starting week 3, so very exciting. Some of you are going to be continuing on online. Some of you are going to be coming back into school for the first time. And I'm very excited to see how we all work together and continue to learn and grow together. So regardless of whether you are virtual or face-to-face, you're going to go to the classwork tab. You are going to go to week 3. Remember, you are still logging on to your same Google Classroom to turn in and submit work for my class. That has not changed. So you're going to go to week 3. And then today's lesson is going to be September 9th, the stage directions. Once you click there, it will take you to your Google form, which I already have open, and you can get started on your assignment. And so what you're going to do is you're going to put in Southwest ISD school email address, like we always do. You know what Miss Raina wants you to do. And so it's going to be your ID number at southwestisd.net. You're going to choose your theater class period. And then you are going to give me your last name, your first name. Remember, this is just as important as writing our name on our paper in regular school. And so make sure you have those 3 questions filled out before we get started. What you're going to do first is you are going to take a look at the stage directions. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through those right now. And then you also have this picture with the completed chart for reference for you to look at. Now, we are going to fill in these 9 boxes. You want to think of the areas on stage as kind of like the way a tic-tac-toe thing has 9 boxes. You have 9 boxes here, 9 areas of the stage, and they all have different names. So we're going to go through that right now. As you can see in blue on my screen right now, these are the abbreviations. So abbreviations are like the shortened versions of the name. And so I'm leaving those on there for you to see so you can kind of, for one, get to know the shorthand, get to know the abbreviations, and then also make predictions about what each one is going to be named. So we're going to start out with the one in the very middle, in the very center, and that one is called Center Stage, people. So we're going to call it Center. And we call it Center because it is in the very, very, very middle of the stage. And so, of course, like, you know, we call the center, the middle of things, the center. That's the same thing here, Center Stage. And so then from there, we have all the areas that are closest to the audience. So you see all the people down here. All the areas closest to the audience are going to be downstage areas. All the areas away or further away from the audience are going to be upstage areas. And so why do we call it that? Why do we call it up and down? Well, back in the early days of theater, stages used to be made on kind of a slant like this. So like the audience would be down here watching, looking this way, and then the actors would be here kind of on stage walking around. And so it was slanted so that people could see better. And so when an actor was going away from the audience, they would be literally kind of like climbing up a hill. So that's why we call the areas away from the audience upstage, and then the areas that are closer to the audience downstage. And so now it's kind of opposite, right? Now our stages are usually pretty flat, and it's the audience seats that are raised up in kind of like a diagonal or, you know, like a hill, right? But we still use that same upstage and downstage. Theater is full of traditions, and that's one of them. So again, one more time, closer to the audience, you're gonna be downstage. And so we're gonna work on these areas in the middle first. So we have downstage, downstage, center. So it's downstage because it's closer to the audience, but it's center because it's still in this middle section right here. It's not too far to the right or left on stage. It's right in the middle, so we still call it center. So if we have a downstage center, that means we have to have an upstage center. And so that's what we have, these three main areas: center, upstage center, downstage center. And now, as I said before, now we're moving on to our areas that are going to be on the right and on the left. Now, remember, stage directions are from the actor's point of view. So it's like you're looking through the actor's eyes. And so remember, that's why I have my Bitmoji friend right here. Bitmoji Miss Raina is here to remind us that she is the actor. So the stage directions are from her point of view on stage. She's looking at the audience. So it's going to be her right and her left, even though it looks opposite if you're sitting in the audience watching. So that is usually the most confusing thing about stage directions, is remembering that it is from the actor standing on stage looking at the audience. It's from their point of view. And so if you can remember that, you're going to catch on to stage directions really quickly. So we're going to continue on in this middle section right here. So notice we have a middle going this way, but we also have a middle going this way as well, vertically and horizontally. So this one, since it's in the middle, is going to be center stage right. So center right. This side is going to be center left. And we're going to make it the right color so that it color codes, because Miss Raina has OCD. And so we have our center right and center left. So it's in the middle still, but this one is more on the right side. And then center left, same thing on this side. So now we have 4 more boxes to fill in. So we have downstage center, DR. What could that stand for? Downstage, because we're close to the audience. And then we are on the right side. So we're going to be downstage right. And then we are also going to do the other side, because of course, if there is downstage right, there is also going to be downstage left. And then if we have these down here, the same has to be true for upstage, right? So the same way we have downstage right, well, then we're going to have upstage right as well. We have upstage right, and let's color code. And then we have upstage left. And those will complete our 9 stage directions. So as you can see, this completed picture has the same exact information, and this is what you will see on your Google form, the 9 stage directions. And so what I want you guys to do now is, for your warm-up, you're going to go ahead and type out those 9 stage directions one more time. You are more than welcome, of course, to use this picture for reference if you forget one or if you need help. But what I would challenge you to do is to try to not look at the picture and try to remember all of the stage directions as best you can from memory. And then if you forget some, you can go back and check. You can pause this video at this time if you need some extra time to go ahead and do that, and then come back when you're ready. When you're ready, you're going to move on to activity number 1. What I have here for you is a little song. I think all of you will be familiar with it, and it's just a way for you to get up, get moving, and practice using those stage directions. So what you're going to do is you're going to click play on the video, and you will begin to hear. Let me play a little bit more for you. Okay. Everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Oh yeah, you know what to do. Clap,
clap.
And so what you're gonna do with that video is you're gonna practice using stage directions with the cha-cha slide. And so you can go ahead and use this video as many times as you need to practice stage directions. But the idea is I want you to be familiar with these stage directions. I want, when you hear stage right, to know exactly where it is that you're supposed to go. And so if you play this video, practice the song at home or in class with me, wherever you are watching this video. And then let me know what you did. Did you do it at home if you're virtual, or did you do it live in class with me? If you are doing this virtually at school, you can also click that you did it at home. I'll edit that so that it says that you did it virtually. Once you're done and you tell me what to do, I'm going to go ahead. I have to type something in the boxes or else it won't let me move on. Remember, give me your stage directions, practice with the cha-cha slide, and then you can move on to your next one. And so what you guys are going to be doing next is you have two options. You can either continue watching this video. I'm going to go over all of the same information, or you can watch this one here that's embedded inside your Google form. And what you're going to do is you have some multiple choice questions to follow. And what you're going to do is you're going to listen to the information and then go ahead and answer the questions. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing my presentation with you guys again so I can get to talking about those other terms that you need to know. So as you go on to answer those questions, it's going to ask you a little bit more about the stage directions, the acting positions that you practiced yesterday, and then also the stage directions that you practiced today. And here are just a couple of more terms that we use when we're using stage directions, blocking, and moving around on stage. Some of these you've already heard, and then some of these will be new to you. The first one is open. So this one we did kind of talk about with acting positions, but being open on stage means basically that you're facing and you're turned towards the audience. That's it, right? And we want to be as open as possible on stage. Why? Because we have an audience seated all around the front of the stage, and we want to give them the best view possible of what it is that we're doing on stage. The opposite of open is closed. So closed is when you're turning away from the audience. Right now, I'm very open to you all. You can see the whole entire front of my body. You can see my whole face. Closed would be if I was turned away from you and trying to not show myself or very much of my face, and turning my body and my face completely away from the audience. We want to avoid closing when possible. Sometimes you have to do it as part of your scene or as part of whatever emotion you're trying to show with your character. But most of the time, we want to avoid closing ourselves off. We want the audience to see what we're doing, what we're showing on our face, that kind of stuff. When you share the stage with someone, that means it's at least you and one other person on stage. So 2, 3, 4, and you are all equally open, meaning that there isn't one person on stage that you can see more or less than another. You can see everyone, their body, their face, pretty much equally. Now, sometimes we have issues with sharing on stage. Sometimes an actor might give or take. If you are giving, that means that you are closing yourself off and basically letting whoever's on stage with you kind of take the full spotlight. That's giving. Taking is when somebody else on stage is turned away and you are the one who is the main focus of the scene because you are the most open or the most facing the audience. So that's give and take. Upstaging. So upstaging is when you have somebody who is in the upstage area, so closer to the back of the stage, and you are making, so maybe this person is talking and there's somebody downstage closer to the audience, and this person is talking, and so this person is forced to turn around and talk back to them, but they're giving their whole back to the audience. That's upstaging, and you want to avoid that as much as possible, because like I said, you want the audience to see you. That is the whole point. That is why the audience is there. They want to watch your storytelling. And if you are always upstaging and turning around to talk to somebody else who's more upstage than you, the audience doesn't get to see very much of you at all. So we want to avoid upstaging for that reason. Covering is something else that happens on stage sometimes. And basically what that means is there's somebody on stage and then you come on stage and you stand directly in front of them, or you block them in some way so that the audience cannot really see what that person is doing. So the same way that you would cover something to like hide it, it's the same thing on stage. If you're covering somebody, that means you're hiding them. And unless your director has specifically told you to hide somebody or something on stage, you really don't want to do that. You want to make sure that everybody is seen. So what are some of the ways that we can avoid upstaging and covering? Because like I said, we really don't want to do those things on stage. The best thing to do is to perform your scenes or play your scenes in quarter position. So remember, I'm going to stand up really quick for this one. Full front, we're facing completely forward. Quarter is when you're turned slightly on a diagonal, right? We're not profile. Profile is completely to the side, and that's a weak position on stage. Remember, we want to be a little bit more opened up. We want to cheat out and remain open. And so quarter, that diagonal position between full front and profile. Most of the time you want to be in quarter. Quarter right, quarter left, because this allows you to remain open and visible to the audience. The next one is making your turns toward downstage. So what that means is anytime you have to turn on stage, you want to turn towards your audience. So right now, you guys, the computer screen, y'all are my audience. So that means if I was talking to someone and I'm leaving, I want to turn towards you so that you can see my whole body and everything that I'm doing. Versus, say I'm talking to someone and I leave and I go this way, I end up making a big circle and just showing my back to the audience when I really don't need to. So again, turning towards the audience, which is what we want to do, and then turning away from the audience, which is just kind of clunky, takes more time on stage, and just doesn't look as good. So we want to avoid doing that. The next one is using your upstage arm when you're passing or moving something. So for example, again, let me grab something. I have this pen and maybe I need to pass it on stage to someone. If I go this way with my downstage arm, downstage is closest to the audience, closest to y'all. If I use my downstage arm, I might completely block somebody with my arm. There could be someone standing right here. There could be, anything happening that I'm now completely covering with my arm. Instead, I'm going to use my upstage hand, which is the hand that's closest to the backstage. And that way, I'm not covering as much, right? It's an easier just hand over, and my hand can move away really quickly so that I'm not blocking whatever's happening right here. The last one is kneel on your downstage knee. And so for that one, basically what it does is if you're kneeling on your downstage knee, I know you can't really see what I'm doing right now, but what it does is it gives you more control over how you can turn your body on stage. If you do it the opposite way and you kneel on your upstage knee, you just don't have the variety of movement. You can't move your body as much. And so you're going to end up closing yourself off to the audience a little bit more. And then the last thing is to write down your crosses and your counter crosses. So remember, crosses and counter crosses are basically just your movements going across the stage when you're moving from one place to another. If you write down everywhere you're supposed to be going, then you won't ever have the problem of running into someone, getting in front of someone, or being in front of someone when you should not be. And so those are ways that'll just help you to avoid upstaging and making those beginner mistakes when you are on stage. And so I'm going to take you guys back to your Google form. And so what you guys are going to do, like I said before, I know that was a lot of information. Thank you if you're still here and you made it through it. You are going to go ahead now and you're going to go through and answer the multiple choice questions. Remember, you can always go back, rewind, replay parts of my video if I went through too quickly and you missed something. And then you can also watch this video, which is going to provide you with the same information to answer these questions. So what you'll do is you'll select one of the multiple choice answers for each question. And then when you get to the very, very bottom, you'll have your exit ticket, which is simply, do you have any questions about stage directions? I will be able to see that in your responses. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them here. If you don't, you can just write in no questions, and that's fine. And then you're going to click submit in order to turn in your assignment. Once you click submit, you should see a screen that says your response has been recorded. If you get to that screen, that means that you are done. You have finished your assignment and you're good to go. You don't need to do anything else in order for me to grade you. So go ahead and get to your assignment, guys. If you have any questions, remember, always feel free to ask me on Remind, my email, which is greyna@southwestisd.net, or comment on your assignment in Google Classroom. I do see all of those comments and I do try and get to them as quickly as I can. So that's it for today, you guys. Enjoy your day. Today's a great day. You are in charge of you. And every day is a good day to try your best. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.